The background, as you know, South Africa. And my question to you is, you are a seasoned politician who knows more about land issues in Kenya, which is also a major issue in all of the African countries right now. So my question to you is, what will you do if you are the president today? What will you do about the land policy issues that will help us to cope or to solve the issues of coffee, tea, especially where I come from in Kiambu, we have issues with coffee and tea because right now, in the near future, we will not have any coffee.
Simon, land your plane.
Coffee tree standing in the future. So my question is, what will you do? Will you do about the land policy issues to avoid the demarcations that we have been seeing in the recent years that are about to finish the coffee plantations and the tea plantations?
Thank you, Simon. Please keep it short because you are not in this group. Thank you. You can use mine.
Thank you so much. My name is George Bush.
George Bush?
Yes. Now, His Excellency, from your remarks, you seem to be a very strong advocate of dialogue without compromise. And you're also an admirer of the French system where when you are accused, you stand guilty. And now, sometime back, Justice Philomena Mwilu was charged in court actually for, you've also said you are a strong advocate of the war against corruption. Now, sometime back, Justice Philomena Mwilu was charged in a court around Milimani in the High Court. And you are among the lawyers who were paraded in the High Court.
Yes, indeed, I argued.
To defend her. Now, don't you think that that act alone compromises your stand on the war against corruption and your admiration of the French system where once you have been pointed at, you stand guilty?
George Bush, thank you.
Your Excellency, before you answer, George Bush, I know him from the NASA demos, and these are the guys who attempted to file a pauper's petition during the second round, and they went to the Supreme Court. They said they don't have money, but they wanted to file a petition to challenge the fresh election. Then they were turned away. So you can feel it from the system. This is a group of young guys who wanted to file their own petition. Thank you.
Well, maybe I should start with George. First of all, thank you, George Bush. I don't know whether junior or senior or in between. The case of Philomena Mwilu is different. It has to do with historical injustice. And I'm happy that you even tried to file that petition. Everybody knows that she was very strong when it came to listening to a petition, leading to the nullification of the earlier election. Some of us got the sense that it was a case of persecution. And I think it's something inbuilt, our sense of justice. The sense of justice in this case, that was based on what I knew. And again, plus the very important matter of standing for an independent judiciary. If you have the second in command of our judicial system, right, being maligned for perhaps a decision she may have taken, then what would you do? Now, an admirer of the French system, yes, but because of the frustration with our legal system based on the English system, right? But doesn't mean I've shifted to the French system. I think what we need to do is to expedite justice in our courts. If you come to that, an ordinary mwananchi akienda kwa mahakama anakaa, there are cases which have been pending in magistrate courts, I mean at the level of the civil litigation, for over 15 years. Mpaka some parents die and they hand over. Watoto wanaridhi. Mambo ya mahakama. That is not the way to go. Therefore, whatever it is that we have to do as a country, we will do. But my defense of Justice Mwilu was based on that, to my sense of persecution, number one. And number two, the fact that the independence of the judiciary must be guaranteed at any cost. Now, Ndegwa, I can really share your frustration. Whoever invented the concept of real estate development must have thought of Kiambu before coming to Kenya. Because people are uprooting because of our poor coffee prices. Did you know, young people, that Vietnam today has beaten Kenya hands down in export of coffee to the international market? They actually borrowed Ruiro 11. I think that was the brand. Ruiro 11, wakaja wakafanya espionage, economic espionage, whatever, took it to Vietnam. What are we doing with our coffee? We are uprooting it because the prices are terrible. You have heard of the KPCU, Kenya Plantation Worker something KPCU, as it used to be, a huge thing, which used to be another cash cow. If we get our policy on agriculture, you see now, you asked me if I became president. I think you should think clearly and aim at it. We'll aim at it together. All right? This time there's no landing. What was it? The stars, and you land somewhere else. This time tutafanya bullseye. Yeah? God willing. But of course, we are not even into that as yet. There are things that must happen. The period for electioneering will come. I think our number one priority now is review of our constitution. And number two, let us get our numbers correct. And number three, let us get rid of this corruption. And let us have an all-inclusive thing. I think you started by saying the AU. The AU, I think you must have read the AU Charter. You know, it used to be OAU, Organization of African Unity, and now it is African Union. The principle of inclusivity is important. You may have seen some of us even go very quickly to DRC, and there met President Tshisekedi and former President Kabila. We are telling them you must have an all-inclusive DRC. I don't know how many of you know, the size of DRC is 4 times Kenya. The heaviest forests in this continent. If you decimate forests in the Congo, you have ruined Africa. There are rivers there like Big River Congo, Ubangi River and others that can produce electricity enough to give to every home in Africa. But inclusivity is an issue. I think we need to review. My daughter, Miss Ndoto, Kenya is a republic, not a democracy. Discuss. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Okay? Maybe we need now to review the concept of democracy within the framework of Africa. As I sit today, I was supposed to be in Johannesburg. My moderator, at the invitation of Open Societies, discussing about the future of African democracy. It will be interesting to see the conclusions there. It therefore seems to me that maybe we follow Francis Atwoli's example of getting these nationalities, call them tribes, and they sit there and have one batch of 10 tribes put together, another batch of 10 tribes, fight it out between themselves. Whoever is beaten, the other one there, yeah, because somebody asked, I don't know whether it was you, who somebody asked, I think it was Speaker Mwasa, yeah, Mwasa or Mwasia? Mwasa or Mwasia? Mwasa, it means tall, I think. His speaker is tall. What is our view on the kind of government that I would propose? And I can tell you that Wiper Democratic Movement is set up a small team to think through these issues. But even before that happens, we did recommend, I don't know whether Kenyans, because it's an open document, today you can walk to the office of the registrar of political parties. In fact, they have a stand here. And ask to get a copy of the coalition agreement, the NASA coalition agreement. You will see that under its terms, we're proposing the hybrid system. All right? So as of now, that's the way it should go. You have a president, you have a deputy president, you have a prime minister, 2 deputies, a prime minister to be appointed by the president, all right? And that one has to be the leader of the party or coalition of parties with majority in parliament. That is what we have already filed with the register of political parties. But of course, we have room to brush it up. Particularly if Kenyans agree with my proposal to have a non-contested referendum. Let us look at all those issues, including what Attila was saying whether we have the luxury, we want the luxury of having another tier. Yeah, so you have national government, regional government, county government. Yeah, whether that indeed is the way to go is a matter that we need to refine. What are the cost implications? We need our experts to be able to do that. Today, the wage bill in this country is unsustainable. With every MCA calling themselves honorable. Yeah? Honorable, my names are, you challenge any of them. I don't know if there's an MCA in the house. They will say, my names are Honorable Dr. Bishop, blah, blah, blah. Okay? And you have only one name. But in this case, they want to really impress you. They have very many names. Each of them, 100,000 plus 500 plus how many do we have in the National Assembly? We need to think out of the box. And the opportunity is now. I hope I've tried to answer. But I must say I was cornered by my daughter's question. I have not done justice to it. That's why I said Kenya is a republic, yeah, but not a democracy. Discuss.
Now, that is a lawyer. When you have a legal mind, they will always find a way of getting themselves out and getting you inside. So please, can we take that as our take home? Kenya is a republic and not a democracy. Discuss. And don't forget George Bush's French way of system. If that is the case, that will answer Attila of arresting one big fish to scare the small ones. Is it time to bite the bullet? Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do another round, but be ready. We can interrupt it at any time because Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka has talked of NASA, and I understand another principal in NASA is in the house. So when you see somebody getting in, that will be our cue to leave. Let me try that gentleman. Yes, sir. Please be upstanding. Just shoot your question, don't make a speech. Ladies, only Miss Ndoto. Did I get the pronunciation right? Miss Ndoto. Another lady. Behind her. That lady. And then there's a commander of Mheshimiwa. You know, we went to the University of Nairobi, but we didn't have a group that calls itself Unarmed Comrades. In here, there is a commander of Unarmed Comrades.
Yeah, because we used to believe the police always came to riot at the university.
So we'll give that commander a question. I know you're a politician, but because we know each other outside this forum, I don't want you to accost me out there. So can we start from that lady there, then that gentleman, just throw your question, then that gracious lady, then the commander, and then we'll see. There's a second guest that is coming in, so we have enough time. Are we okay? I will. Okay, now it is now incumbent upon these other comrades to do the needful by making it short. Please, your floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm called Boniface, and corruption is not new in Kenya. And then you'll find out that the thief has changed tactics. But then we should not be so foolish, and so that the same thief will steal the same way stealing was being done 10 years ago. So what are